Wow, we've experienced some really warm days the last few days, and it's got me itching to get stuff in the ground, but it's not quite time yet. Today on Morning Love, I'll talk about the seasons that we go through in our life. Welcome to Morning Love, your daily dose of love, hope, and encouragement from here at Buckwheat Farms, Magic Emporium and Ballroom. And this is an active farm. Currently, there's not a lot growing because it's the wrong season. And that's what I want to talk about today, the seasons. This warm weather we're having right now. Yesterday, in fact, I was in shorts and sandals while we were out working. And it's really got me itching to get seed in the ground. But I've got to refrain because even though it looks like it's warming up, our last spring frost day is not generally until around April 1st, somewhere about the 9th, I think is what they predict this year. So we got to know the seasons. A couple of years ago, I committed tomatocide. I jumped the gun and got some tomato plants into the garden, and we had a late season frost and went out, and it was nothing but crispy critters. They were just black, crisp. No redeeming of the tomato plants, and I was very remorseful. Last year, in fact, I had an eggplant that had the same thing had happened, but this time I knew and understood how magic worked, and I apologized to the plant and asked that it would give me a second chance, and it came back, and we got more than an abundant supply of eggplants from it. But with that said, I don't want to go about committing seed killing, and it's kind of like the planting, and you know, of course, I do also plant by the moon, so the moon phases will tell me when I should plant above ground plants and when I should plant below ground plants, and also when the time is to rest. And see, there are seasons. There are seasons not only agriculturally, but there are seasons in our lives as well. And we've got to know those seasons. As a farmer, the first thing is I want to study my garden. I want to see where the sunny spots are, where the shady spots are, where there are low spots that might get more water, where there are drier spots that may not get as much water, and to plan my garden accordingly. And also, I want to know the plants that I'm putting in my garden and what I expect to get out of it. You know, I want to have a medicinal herb area, an area for herbs for cooking, that kind of thing. And I want to know, have a plan for it. But then I've got to know the seasons. After studying my garden, I've got to turn the soil. I've got to prepare the soil. Often people will get compost from horse farms, cattle farms, whatever, to add to their garden. They'll create their own compost. You'll till the soil, you'll turn the soil, maybe pull weeds here. I let my little coonies in there to rip up all the grass and so that I don't have to till the soil. But then it's time to sow the seed. Now you want to make sure that the seed you're sowing is what you want to get. You don't want to sow. You can't expect to sow a tomato seed and get a cucumber. You can't expect to sow a zucchini and get corn. So know the seeds that you're sowing, and that's exactly what it is with our ideas. Know the ideas that you're sowing into your life. Your ideas are your seeds. So understand that if you're sowing negative ideas in your life, you're going to have negative crops. If you're sowing positive ideas in your life, you're going to have positive crops. So then it's time to wait. And this is the most frustrating part. This is the hardest part. This is why I've gotten around here. I've got several little art projects ready to go for this summer, because it'll be too hot to do much construction stuff for the summer. But it will be nice to come in here in my air-conditioned office and do some nice art projects that I'll work on, beautification projects. So the waiting and the tending, you want to make sure that your idea is well watered You want to make sure that there's amendments that you add to your ideas, to your seeds. You want to make sure that the weeds, the negative seeds, don't get into your garden as well. And then finally, the time for harvest. And you know, this, for me, is probably the place that I struggle with the most. Because somehow when this harvest comes in, I somehow feel unworthy of all this bounty, you know, and that reflects and translates over into bad habits, like allowing some crops to rot on the vine, not harvesting correctly, not doing a lot of things. Not dwelling on the negative, but those are things I need to focus on and need to understand. And then so the same thing is with our harvest, that when it comes in, when that abundance comes in, when we begin to reap in the abundance, when we get to experience that increase, we need to learn how to take care of our harvest. We need to learn how to store it, how to prepare it to be served, and also how to share it, because that ultimately is the mindset that follows in the mindset of nature itself. Because the wonderful thing about seeds is that there's so doggone many of them. Namaste.